Nimefika Nairobi. Nimeshaanza kupewa makaratasi. I'm in an office where there's a million of girls there. Already my intuition is telling me this is going to something to do with Arabic countries. That was not my dream. We all know how cruel Arabs are to this king. We have seen countless stories of how they treat this color scheme. I'm worried. This is not something I've ever thought about, although I had seen some of my friends in Qatar, Dubai, even some in Saudi Arabia, even some from as close as my neighbors at home. They were in Saudi Arabia and they came back and did something with themselves. So here I am. I've been handed a paper to sign to start the process, to commit myself to the process of becoming a housemaid in Saudi Arabia. My heart sinks. Of all the things I could be, here I am contemplating whether to be a maid or not. Well, I'm one brave girl. I braved my challenges. Here was a challenge. I was in need of a job. Here was an opportunity that I was not looking for that brought itself for my consideration. So I don't want to appear rude. I don't want to be carrying myself like I'm better than anyone else. I have to be friendly. I make friends immediately with the girls there. We start chatting. Now the process begins. I go back home and I tell my sister and my mom, imagine you guys, I'm going to Saudi Arabia, and I insist to them, you guys want me to become a housemaid in Saudi Arabia? Well, difficult seasons are always difficult because they convinced me, I convinced myself. He said, okay, people try things, let's go. So first and foremost, it was the process of, I had a passport myself. Kwanza mimi nilikuwa naambiwa mimi ni hot cake. Mr. Kasana, siwezi kaa more than even a week. I already had a passport. I knew how to present myself. They didn't feel like I had a problem because most girls that were going for a training for the 2 weeks were the girls that needed some catching up to do. Waonyeshwe machines, venye zinatumika. So akaniambia mimi nakaa ni mtu chap mtu naelewa, which is true. That was not, losing hope is terrible, and yeah, it is sad that my life had reached such a point. Obviously that was not what I would resort to. There were so many options, but at the moment I had been beaten by life over and over again. I was feeling down. Nilikuwa nasikia like I'm a bad employee. I didn't feel like I could keep any job. All the jobs I had zilikuwa zinaenda tu hivyo zina. Yani I was feeling terrible. My self-esteem was low. I had issues with all aspects of life. Like, what was the plan of God when he brought me to this space? Why wouldn't I find work? Why were my things not working? Remember at this time I was trying to do something to do with trading. It had disappointed. Nobody had told me nothing works overnight. I'm here at my studio almost 1 year later and I'm still, there is so much to do, there's so much to learn. Baby steps, things take time. And if anyone is telling you you'll become rich overnight, they are lying. They are either using other means. If you're being honest, truthful, hardworking, and you don't know any other way to do things, haujui kupita vichochoro, you use the high road, my friend, it is tough. Nobody told me that. Yeah, if you see people getting quick things, definitely they are cooking something. And if you are not a person who cooks, personally I like sleeping at night without worries. If you wake me up at night, I have no worries. I have not lied to anyone. I have not stolen anything from anyone. That's how I love living my life. And nobody had told me that living life that way is very difficult. It is a journey. It is a long one. So anyway, I'm not better than any other person, and here is an opportunity. And they were telling me, now people at the office convincing me, ujui hapa utalipwa 30k per month, hiyo ni 2 years, sioni hata haja ulipe juu. I was like, this office takes girls even to Dubai, this office takes girls even to Qatar. There are other Arabic countries that are much better off, that are safer. Honestly, Saudi Arabia is not safe. We all know this. It is not news. They tell us do not come here through the things they do to girls every day. Do we listen? No, we listen, but I now understood why people make that decision to try things. Yani life imekufinyilia, you are not seeing any other option, you are depressed, you are hopeless. You are not seeing any other thing that can occur you other than trying that something. And if you're like me, you like flying out and everything you have ever tried failed, you jump on that opportunity to board a plane. That's how I looked at it. I became positive. I started the process of going to be a housemaid in Saudi Arabia. I prepared my heart to be a housemaid. I started saying, oh, how lucky those my bosses would be. They get the best worker possible. I understand things. I get things quick. I knew they would have an easy time with me. So I was like, okay, myself, I have been in a position to supervise a house girl. So I knew what not to do. I knew things that happened around with house girls. I was curious to find all those, what happens if I go on the other side, on the receiving end of a house girl. I wanted to feel how they feel. I wanted to know the hardship of their work. I wanted to know what really happens with them and the husbands. You all know this. This is Kenya. No, that is not you. Forgive the distractions. So I took these challenges, curiosity for me. I wanted to find out what was wrong with Saudi. I wanted to find out what was wrong with the way house helps and husbands relate. I was thinking that house help is the hardest job anyone has had to do. I think about my space, my own space. I take a lot of time before I allow someone to enjoy that space. Now I was thinking how somebody entrusts you with their valuables, their whole house, their husbands, their wives, it is such a delicate situation to be a housemaid. You're being entrusted to look after a child. Someone is entrusting you with a lot of their things. So it is a hard job. I was willing to go and see for myself the challenges they go through. I was all round curious. I wanted to know this place, Saudi. Mbona wasichana wanakufa hivi? What could be done? What is the issue? And I'm telling you, the interference, there's so much interference, because what made me come back was I felt like my privacy was being infringed. Still, when I'm here, I feel like there's so much interference in my life. For example, this is the second time I'm recording this video on the process of how I went through now the process of going up to boarding the plane. This is the second video. I have uploaded another one and things happen. My things just disappear like that. There's so much interference on my electronic devices. And when I switch them off, also I go outside, there's so much interference. My life, every car that passes by, every animal that passes by, the way people talk, it is telling me something. I'm in sync. I'm synchronized. My senses are heightened. I learned that I became spiritually awakened. So I'm edgy all the time because I can tell when something is about to happen and something bad. As in life, there is nothing that can get me as a surprise. Nothing. I see things as coming before they come. Life has become something else. Before I say how my life has changed, we are talking about the process. So the process was, we started with, kwanza nilichochwa. I was getting chochwad and I was feeling good. Kuchochwa simba, you feel good about yourself. So they were saying, oh, how I look like not a maid, how I would not go through the test they go through. It was a lie. You go through the most funniest tests. I have worked in a clinic. I know I'm familiar with the lab test. So test unafanyiwa ni pregnancy, VDRL kuangalia kama uko na magonjwa za kupitia kushirikiana ngono, sexually transmitted diseases. And the whole process felt like already an infringement on my privacy. I was already feeling sexually harassed through taking the lab test for the visa application. They were taking funny tests and I was already feeling like, oh God, just take the wheel and help me. I was ready to go be a maid. I collect that 30K per month for 2 years, boom, I come organize myself, because I had thought about starting a photography gig then, but I had no capital. I remember my parents were contemplating selling a piece of land. I was feeling like the biggest burden on my parents. I had done so well in my school. I never thought work would be a problem for me. I was fighting that the lack of employment for me was causing me depression day and night. So I spent the rest of my time after taking those tests, those funny tests that are suggestive, that are already feeling like you'll be sexually harassed, that already feeling like as a house help you have to be pounced at, I was feeling unsafe already. But nilikuwa najikaza, I was ready. My curiosity was so high up. My problems back here were so many. I needed a way out. And this one looked like a jackpot, because I go there, I behave myself, I knew what not to do. Like I said, I have even experience of supervising house helps. I knew what not to do. I learned fast. I believed in myself. I knew mine was going to be a positive story, because I had also checked on the internet. There were also good stories coming from Saudi. I read that girls that got scholarships after they had worked there nicely. I read about girls who were coming back home and they were being bought very, 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 very statement-making presents. I remember even one of my agents telling me that one of the girls had gone there and she had worked there for almost 10 years and they buy you a whole bus if it's on the road. So there were good stories coming from there. So I was determined to make mine a good one. I looked in the internet everywhere how girls were copying, what happens there. I was preparing myself. I was really going now. I want to fly out. I am not going to die without using my passport. I was going to make money and save it.
Hello. Where?
So, my life is difficult. There are so many distractions from everywhere. I'm feeling like I'm living like, do you know how you used to read novels in school and you hear a play within a play? Like, I'm living and there's another life somewhere in my head happening, and everything is just exhausting for me. And I thank God I didn't run mad. Those Saudi people wanted me to run mad. They are not your friends. Let me tell you, those Arabs know things you don't know. They know things you don't know. And if you are surviving there, you're surviving there because you are good, because you are well behaved, because your heart is good, because they're checking everything. You're surviving there not because of their goodness. The Arabs are always hunting you. They're looking for a chance to wakumaliza vibaya sana. You make headlines here. So if you're out there and a girl and you're seeing this video, this is my advice to you. Challenges are okay in life. Hard seasons are okay in life. And mostly those of us who have a problem with getting married, well, sisi ndio tunapelekwa kukua mambochi huko. It's like a punishment. That place has a big thing to do with marriage. We'll continue dissecting this. So, as a girl, as a young woman out there, forgive those distractions. Hakuna kitu kubwa. There's nothing you can do. It's hard seasons we go through. Kama niyo mjengo fanya, save hiyo pesa kidogo, fanya kitu ingine next. I'm telling you, Saudi Arabia ni hesabu ya kuanguka. my life has changed in a big way, and it is not as sweet as life is not as sweet as it used to be before I went to Saudi Arabia. My life is tasteless, and that's why I have decided to share my story with you, so that if you're out there and feeling the same, if you've ever gone to Saudi Arabia and felt the same, now I understood why people say when you go to Saudi Arabia, you either die or come back mad and things like those. I understand. They disturb your mind highly. They know the way of the mind. That place, I'll tell you what I think about that place. And anyway, I had gone to find out about it. So apart from the funny, suggestive, weird lab tests, I complete the process. I fight with myself. I fight with my inner self. I convince myself I really need this. I wait for my visa to be ready and my ticket. Man, it was taking time. It was like God was telling me, girl, what are you thinking? Every day I would go to my Facebook. I would see terrible stories of how girls were killing each other, how girls were starving there, how girls had died in the most cruel way. And I was there saying, yes, naenda huko kujua ni nini mbaya, if not anything else. And I needed this for myself. So it is okay sometimes. Sometimes you make dumb decisions. Don't blame those who go there. They go there because life imewasukuma. And that is why we go. They make sure as girls umesukumwa na maisha, especially girls who want to be independent, girls who want something for themselves. To mimi mtu hata akikuwa ni president, if that is not my money, it is not going to make me feel like anything. I want my own. I went to school like any other person. I am sharp. I have sharpened my skills everywhere. I am learning new things every day. I am competitive. Yes, I want those things also for myself. I want something that I can naweza sema hii ni wamo alifanya hii through what she did. Me, other people, men things don't. Even if a man came with and stood there with 10 Lamborghinis, I'm like, okay, good, you're rich. So they're not mine. It's awesome. How did you do it? I want to know how you did it. That is the way. So I'm telling you, Saudi is like punishment for those of us who are very, very independent ladies who don't value men, especially you, Mimi. If you have to come into my life as a man, you have to qualify. Like, I'm also testing you as you're testing me and checklisting. I also have my own very, 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 very standard checklist that you have to come through. So anyway, and I remember when I was going there, I was praying a very weird prayer then, that God help my unbelief. I have that whole prayer. I'll say it here. So also be careful what you're praying. Internet is good, but also don't go praying prayers of other people who call. Have something that from your heart. Say something to God from your heart, because saying other people's prayers happens in a later shida. I said a prayer that God will help my unbelief, because at the moment I was not believing God existed. There was no way God would exist, and my life was that chaotic. There was no way God would exist, and I was slowly watching myself become nothing, and the way I had worked hard in school. If you have followed my story on rejection, I had focused so much on my education. I knew it was going to bring something, because I was not one of those girls that anakatiwa na wanaume anapewa do. That is not me. That has never been me. I have never experienced kindness from men. Anything I've done is from birth. So I was trusting. I was feeling down. I was feeling like God didn't love me. Nothing was working for me. So that is the process. Funny tests. Wait. Kuchochwa when I didn't need to do the test. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it was nice. Guys, 2 months are going on and I'm there waiting. And some of my friends are already leaving and I'm wondering, mbona misi itu? Yani, I had already made up my mind I'm going. ninaenda because I had my own things to find out. And I also wanted to prove something to myself. Was I a good employee? Could I finish this 2 years contract of a simple work of looking after nyumba ya mtu? Simple, kumpikia, kuosha, just simple work. Could I accomplish this? Was I skilled enough to finish a 2 years contract? Because I was feeling like, hey, I felt like I was blowing everything up. So I wanted to test myself. It was a test for myself. Could I go to the most dangerous place and come back in one piece? Ningejitambua, unaona? So I'm with all this, wanting to know what was wrong in Saudi, wanting to know if I could be a good housemaid and finish my 2 years contract, wanting to know if I could save. And also hapa pale kwa ofisi wanakuchia nakwambia, huko hata ni kama Kenya tu, kuna mpaka M-Pesa, things are easy. Yeah. Nobody will prepare this life. Nobody will prepare you much. Even me, I will not prepare you so much. But I hope if Saudi ever come knocking at your door as a young lady, I hope you learn a thing or two from my story. This is my story. That is the process, and that's why I decided to go to Saudi. Stay tuned to now me landing there and the culture shock.